like this. Now I can see the part. So you're cutting it with a knife, literally. Like you go into the program and you cut the. So there are going to be some parts and assemblies out there that no matter what view you use, be it the front, right, top, back, bottom, whatever, you're not going to be able to dimension to certain features within inside of it, internal features. And when you come across those situations, which some of you already have, you're going to need to use a section view. What a section view does is takes a part like this valve here, and on, say, in this situation, the top view, I'm going to put a cutting line on it. And when I have that cutting line on my front view, in this situation, I'll have my section view. So it cuts away in this situation, half of the part, and now I can see all the internal features of this valve or whatever part you're working on. When it does that, as you can see this cutaway area, when you have that on your drawing, you're going to hatch all the cut area, and then the rest of it is just going to be empty space in your visible lines. There are no hidden lines more often than not when you do a section view. So I'm going to show you how to do that in Solidworks and AutoCAD. I'm going to start with Solidworks and with focusing just on full section, and then I'll make some other videos on the different types of section views that you can use. The reason I'm starting with Solidworks is I think it has a better visual representation of what's going on with the section view than what you would do in AutoCAD, but you'll need to know how to do both. So just to kind of show you, this is one way to do it, but more than anything I'm doing this to show you kind of how it visually looks. So when you're in your model, you can come up to this bar up here and click on section view, and then that will automatically, if you didn't have anything selected, select your front plane. In this situation, I'll quick describe what's it's showing you here. So it's taking that front plane and cutting this part at the front plane. So when we go to our drawing, all this area here, that's going to be a hatched, you're going to hatch this area, and then you'll just show your visible lines. More often than not, you do not show hidden lines in your section views. So I actually want my right view. So that's what I'm going to see. I'm going to have my front view and then right view on my drawing like this. You can kind of move your section view around. It's kind of fun to play with if you want to kind of see how, as your plane moves, what the section view would look like. You can rotate it in weird ways that you probably never would use, but I think it kind of gives you a better idea of what a section view is. So where my, oops, I didn't want that one right here. Where my plane is here, that's where my cutting line is going to be on my front view. And I'm going to switch over to the drawing now. Control Tab. Okay, so here's my front view, and I want a right view with that's a section view with a cutting plane on the front view. And it's real easy in Solidworks. You just come up, when you're in the View Layout tab, come up to Section View, click here, select which orientation you want your cut line to be. I want it to be vertical, and I'm just going to click here, and then now it gives me some more options if I want to continue on with creating my cut line. I just want this to be a full, so it's just straight up and down. I hit check, and now I can show I'm projecting this way. You can flip the direction, so now this would be the appropriate side for that section view. See how it's kind of flipping the view each time I click on that? So your arrows here are pointing where the view's looking. So I'm looking this direction, so that's why I'm seeing the hole on this view now. If I flip it, I'm on the wrong side with that, but see how the hole went away? Because I'm looking this way, the hole's not on this side. So that's how easy it is to do in SolidWorks. Like everything with AutoCAD, it's just a little clunkier. So I'm going to switch over to AutoCAD to this part. So this is similar to the part on 912. I made a slight modification to it because I felt it made more sense to have it this way as a section view than what they have in the book. So there's this came up, I put mine down. I can't dimension to this because it's a hidden line, so I'm going to need a section view for this part. So what I do, you can do this in different ways. So we know that I'm going to put my cutting line here. You can put it here in the model space or in letter. It's your preference. I prefer to put things like that in paper space, my letter layout. So I'm going to cut. I'm just going to kind of give a quick representation of what my cutting line would be, where my cutting line is going to be. I'm going to cut through here. So this section is going to be hatched. I'm going to turn off, let's see here, this would get trimmed back. That's going to cut through there. That's going to get cut. That would get cut out. Okay, so that's all going to be right there. Okay, the rest of this needs to be hidden lines, or visible lines. Let's see here. That needs to be trimmed back. Like that. And I don't want separate line segments, so I'm going to delete those. And I need to extend them like so. Okay, I think that should do it. So this surface right here is this line right there. Now I'm just going to type hatch. Now each hatch pattern here does relate to a material type. For my demonstration here, I'm just going to keep it at ANSI 31. If you go to page 9.6, it kind of shows you the different patterns for different types of materials. So ANSI 32, that's steel. Cast iron, that's probably similar to this ANSI 31. I don't know if they have any other. Obviously, that's not all the patterns out there. You'd have to, when you go through here on AutoCAD, it does label some of them with the appropriate hatching. Alright, I'm just going to click on ANSI 31, and then I got to make sure I'm on the right layer. I have a layer for section lines, and then just click on the areas that would be cut out. Anything that is it's like this hole here, I wouldn't hatch that because it's not intersecting with the cut line. And then I'd come over to the letter space, and there's apparently some stuff on here. I'm just going to delete this real quick. That's sufficient. And it talks about some of the construction of a cut line. I think it kind of goes into more of it on chapter 10. There's probably going to be some ways I'm going to try to ease the pain in the butt that this can be, but for the time being, just take your cut line, plop it in there. So, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. So I have the cutting plane line. Time being, we'll just plop this thing in here so it's above. I did not switch out my layer. Try to be somewhat not sloppy with it. try to kind of come up here and, yeah, come on. Set quad. Snap that to there. Quad. And then just extend it out equal size either way. There's a bunch of different ways you could try doing this, but this is just about 0.4 it says in the book. But kind of depends on your part, so that's not a great rule of thumb. And then in the Mld Styles, I created one just for cutting where I took away the landing and the text from the leader, so it's just a leader. I'm going to set this one to current just to make sure. I'm going to get it so it's on the right layer. And Mld, I want it to be landing first, and then go out about 3/4. As far as I can tell, you can't, I don't know why, any other line you can just type in what distance you want, but AutoCAD doesn't seem to let you type the distance you want for a leader. So if I type 0.75, it doesn't do anything. So just kind of keeping track of your polar there, have about 0.75 there, click, and then I'll just copy this down to the bottom. Now if you were to move this view away from the projection of the front and rotate it and all that, you're going to need to put a label on your cutting plane line and a label on your section view so that someone looking at this print knows that this and this are related. But the way it sits right now, it's pretty obvious that this and this are related to each other. So this is sufficient. And now, with that cut there, I can do all my dimensioning. In the next video, I will cover how to do a half section.